everything and you gain a bunch of life. And I think like that's what puts it over. I mean, this is like probably the best 5-mana Wrath. Maybe Hallowed Burial gives it a run for its money.
I think Hallowed Burial is probably better just because it deals with just anything of persist
you just kind of
or
get
whatever.
Through everything.
But I agree. I mean, I think when I first saw this card, I was like, wow. I was kind of surprised that they would make this a card. It kind of mitigates the downside of like going from Wrath of God to Day of Judgment to now pretty much all the Wraths are 5 mana, or at least in white. They've all been 5 mana since then. Giving the aggro decks an extra turn to get in another attack can really leave you in a bad spot. So even if you hit your Wrath on turn 5, you're going to be at a pretty low life total. But this helps you a lot by not only are you wiping their board, but you're gaining a little bit of that life back. Getting a little bit of a cushion, which is really like what a control deck wants. So, I mean, this card will obviously see you play in standard. Maybe not in older formats, but definitely in standard. And it's going to be something that aggro decks are going to have to be prepared for.
I'm formally against this card. I just can't stand seeing those gremlins.
Oh yeah, I do feel bad for all of those gremlins. I agree with you wholeheartedly. They're adorable and they're just getting slaughtered.
Look at that one. Look at its eyes. It's seeing its death. It knows that it's coming. It's remembering all the gremlin times it had.
I'm gonna start a group that's gonna be for the gremlin rights.
Yes, this would be like the spew for Hermione.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. All right. Let's see here.
Gear Shift Ace?
No. That's not even on our list.
That card's good.
It's the same pilot. It has first strike. It's not that great.
But it's a dwarf.
It is a dwarf. It's also
it's not a 3-mana dwarf.
It also for some reason looks like Cable from the X-Men.
No, it looks like a
Bishop. Sorry, Bishop.
Yeah,
My
it looks
apologies.
like Bishop.
Bishop. Yeah, it's totally Bishop with a fine mustache. But I don't know. It's fine. First strike's okay in this format, but giving first strike to your vehicles is average. So
what? Really? The 5/3 trample one?
I guess.
Trample first strike? That's good.
Moving on to refurbish.
All right.
It could see play, but we talked about the pilot, and we mentioned the other one, the haste pilot, before. You have a haste pilot, you have a first strike pilot. Go wild. Hog wild. And by that,
There's
I mean,
no motorcycles.
Why not?
I don't know. They just aren't.
It's in the next set.
Refurbish. This is 3 generic and a white for a sorcery. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is the artifact Zombify.
Yeah.
Important to note, though, we have this weird cycle of Gear Hulks we've been talking about, and this can cheat them into play for a little bit cheaper. And this is the card that I've seen is the quote-unquote draw to the Tormenting Voice Cathartic Reunion decks, because you can pitch all these other cards and then instantly pitch a Gear Hulk and then bring it back. Now, I don't know if any of the Gear Hulks in especially in red and white are actually worth it. We literally skipped again the red one for a reason, and the white one getting it in earlier doesn't actually accomplish everything you want it to. You want the board to actually mature like a fine wine before you bring it back. I've seen people bring back Noxious Gear Hulk off of this, but as we said, even that card on turn 4, it gets good value, but its body isn't going to oppress the board the way you want it to. You could bring the 10/10 back. So
I'm not really in the market for that.
But that brings itself back, though.
But not people,
so if you don't want to play a bunch of artifacts, but you still want to play a 10/10 in your deck,
yeah,
there you go.
So people are really trying to push this card, but I don't know if any of the cards are actually big enough payoffs to do it. But you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously like a lot more creatures that you would like to reanimate. Like if this was just Zombify, then it'd be way better.
Yeah, well, they took that out of white a little while ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if it was even if they just printed Zombify, like the card would be pretty good, I think. But
I agree. It probably would be pretty good.
Being restricted to just artifacts makes it much worch worse. So
all I know, we do have a Zombify effect, don't we? 5 mana. Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's not 4 mana. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, all I know is that I really don't like refurbished goods. They usually don't hold up as well, so I'm going to pass.
Look at that horse. That horse clearly looks refurbished.
Just pay the extra mana and get the brand new one.
Yeah, exactly. Get the brand new one. You get more of a selection that way.
You get that factory warranty.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Servo Exhibition is the next card. It's a generic and a white sorcery. Create 2 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature tokens. So this card seems, not great on the surface, but I think it does some things that you might want. So for the decks that are needing artifacts in play. So if you have what's that guy? Toolcraft. I keep
Exemplar?
forgetting that. Toolcraft Exemplar. So this gets you 2/3 of the way to the first strike ability, just on its own. It lets you kind of curve, your Exemplar into Servo Exhibition, attack for 3, and then if you play another artifact on the third turn, then
the
your
third
attack
artifact is the Smuggler's Copter.
Yeah.
And in the servos, they crew the copter.
they hop right in. This is a compliment, I think, to Copter and Exemplar. I think you kind of play some number of these all in the same deck. They work so well together, and I feel like Exhibition is maybe not the most flashy card, but I think it is there for a reason. I think it costs 2 mana for a reason as well. We've seen a lot of these cards cost more than that, up to like 3.
What we had, Master's Call was the one for the mirror.
Yeah,
right? It was 3 mana.
Yeah.
They made 2 mirror tokens.
I don't know. I just think Dragon Farter was a card that saw a little bit of play. It was never truly exciting, but it was a good role player in the decks that it was played in. And I think they're definitely on top of Exemplar. You have things like Pia Nalar that lets you do things with extra artifacts they have laying around and things like that. So
Well, I think you mentioned Dragon Fodder is a good example here. So Dragon Fodder was most recently played when Atarka Red was a big deck because you wanted to swarm with bodies. And as I said, Reckless Bushwhacker is definitely a payoff to these red-white decks. So again, there's nothing. It's pretty devastating on the board when you're like, okay, you got a couple of guys go, and they're like, okay, cool, play my 4th land, Servo Exhibition, Surge my Bushwhacker.
I could definitely say like that is the most satisfying. So.
Yeah, after that happens, the serve bots look like R2D2 after you struck by a little bit of lightning. All right, next up we have Sky Whaler's Shot, because we're whalers on the moon, and we carry a harpoon, but there ain't no whales, so we tell tall tales and we sing our whaling tune. Anyways. This is 2 generic and a white for an instant. Destroy target creature with power 3 or greater, scry 1. Okay, so I gotta talk flavor here for a second. There are sky whales on this plane, and there's something they just sort of casually threw out there, like, oh, sky whales. Like, wait, what?
yeah, that's just a thing.
Whales in the sky.
Like, I immediately thought of, like, if you've ever read, like, Hitchhiker's Guide, the poor whale that randomly comes into existence and then slowly says hi to everything before crushing itself on the ground. It made me feel sad. But apparently where there's sky whales, there are sky whalers. This is horrific. You get on a sky ship and you shoot
Kaladesh
whales?
needs some Greenpeace up in there.
And can we talk about how the physics of this have to work? So you shoot the whale and what? You put it on your sky ship? How do you stay in the air?
Doesn't it fall? Like,
yeah, I don't understand. Like, do you have to like make sure you're not like over someone's house? Like, we got it.
we gotta make sure we're over the ocean. Wait, what? Like,
do you guys
then it
hear
falls
that?
into the ocean? Is that how like evolution works on
You know what?
Kaladesh?
And like, if the whale reaches terminal velocity, like when a whale hits the ground, it's not going to stay a whale.
Yeah,
It's going to be whale chunks.
I'm not quite sure the logistics of sky whaling. But what about their shot? So what about?
Well, the harpoon shot here is pretty good. This instant destroy target creature power 3 or greater and scry 1 is the kind of spell that I think a white-based control deck might be looking for. There's a lot of creatures with power 3 or greater. It also does kill Copter. And I know we keep coming back to this, but really that card is going to dominate standard. So the scry 1 here is powerful. The fact that it's an instant is powerful. I think this card, it's a role player, but as a piece of removal, it's pretty good.
I just want to point out that there's a card in Magic called Killer Whale. It's a 5 mana, 3/5 blue creature that you can give flying, and you can definitely shoot it with this card. So. just so somebody out there can do that. Yeah, you can make that happen.
I wonder if this started off at like 4 greater, and then they were like, wait, killer whale.
I don't know how I knew what that card was.
Well, I think the uncommon Sky Whale is a 3-power creature in blue. So
Fair enough.
But yeah, I just want to. I don't understand. Like Wizards is so careful to like not offend anybody, and then they're just like, you know what? Sky whaling. What? Why not? Why not have dolphins out there too? Let's harpoon them.
Why don't we?
Baby seals.
Sky dolphins.
Love sky seals.
Sky
that you can
dolphins.
club.
Sky dolphins are definitely the dolphins from Super Mario World.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what they are.
absolutely.
Because they're just jumping in the
Oh,
air.
and yeah, and sky seals. We got to club some sky seals.
Yeah,
I
they'll
mean,
just
right?
have the seal club. There'll be an equipment in the next set.
And if you're like really
man.
offended by the idea of like clubbing baby seals, then you should be offended by sky whaling.
It's true.
Oh my gosh.
All right, next card we have a 0-4 camel. That's pretty sweet. First time we've seen a camel since Arabian Nights.
I hate the fact that they use tasseled as an adjective for a magic card. Can we just point out that don't tassel anything?
Yeah. That's a yoke dox? Is that what that is? Is that 4?
Yes.
0-4 for 1?
Would you like a tasseled yoke docs?
That's way fancier.
It's like a pinata.
That's true. Anyway, the real next card is
next card.
Thriving
It is a
Ibis.
1-mana card.
Oh wait, no, it's not.
Toolcraft Exemplar.
We've only mentioned the name of the card like 9 times.
Yeah, like a million times. So it's a single white. It's a dwarf artificer, both relevant creature types. 1/1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control an artifact, Toolcraft Exemplar gets +2/+1 until end of turn. And if you control 3 or more artifacts, it also gains first strike until end of turn. So, man, this card got me excited to try to build a white aggressive deck with artifacts.
And
Yeah.
it is as good as advertised.
Yeah, nice one, the cuddle.
This one probably would have been too good if it had the permanent +2/+1 bonus, like Inventor's Apprentice. So they just gave it, just on the attack, basically. But still pretty good. I mean, being able to attack for 3 on the second turn with minimal investment, pretty good. So I think you'll see. I think you'll see a lot of this in Standard. Older formats, I'm not so sure. I know some people are talking about, is it playable in Affinity? I don't think Affinity really wants this card in Modern.
No, Affinity really wants like Invasion of some persuasion.
I mean, Infinity already could have had like Court Homunculus, which is like not too far behind
there,
this.
there
so.
are similar cards, that could have played that. I mean, even if even if he was an artifact for some reason, I still don't know if that's what Affinity wants. But in Standard, I expect it to be a format staple and a reason to go the artifact route in your aggressive decks.
I am really sad that compared to all the other dwarf art, I think this is like the worst dwarf art. Like, look at like Gear Shift, Ace, everything. Like, again, like this guy's just like, I'm looking at this tool.
Look at these tools.
Like he looks like the guy who answers the door in the Wizard of Oz, right? And I mean that because he has like this purple beard and stuff. Like,
So let's fix it. Let's get all of them altered to be Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Not nobody, not know how.
that's exactly what this is.
That's that
yeah.
guy.
It's like, what if I have an artifact? Well, that's a horse of a different color. All right.
Again,
and that is
now-
not a joke because they're dwarfs. That is not what that joke is. He literally looks like that guy. Don't know what to tell you. All right, let's do it. Let's hit green.
All right.
Is this it?
Oh yeah,
Last
we're
one?
almost
All right,
done. So we're starting with Arborback Thragtusk Stomper.
Yeah.
I actually quickly do want to mention Appetite for the Unnatural. It's a 3-mana effect with destroy target artifact or enchantment. The gain 2 life though, I've seen this card getting a lot of play, and that 2 life is a tempo boost despite the mana
It is
costs.
instant speed as well.
Yeah, so that card I think you will see in sideboards more often than you might think.
You could play Natural State, right?
You could play Natural State, absolutely.
That kills Copters.
Doesn't
for
kill
one,
Gear Hulks.
for 1 manas.
This kills
Okay.
Killer Hulks, and then you gain 2 life.
Kills Gear Hulks. Okay,
So.
that's a reason to play that, I guess.
But it was Arborback Stomper, 3 generic GG for a creature beast. It is a 5/4 trample, and it says when it enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life. Thus, why we're calling this, new Thragtusk.
Fixed Thragtusk.
The body here is relevant. Trample's relevant. I mean, granted, a 5/4 for 5 isn't exciting, but gaining 5 life, it's, anytime we've seen that attached to a creature, it's worth looking at because this is a body that can stabilize the board against an aggressive deck and gain you that 5 life. This is the same reason why we think Noxious Gearhulk's okay, and that one costs, 6 mana. Now you need to kill a creature, but the life gain might be what you're really looking for. So, not to mention, there's again a bunch of incidental flicker in this format, including Eldrazi Displacer. I don't know if you remember, but there was this card called Restoration Angel, and it flickered Thragtusks, and it made everyone hate life.
I actually liked life. 'Cause I
Oh
was
no, we
doing
all
that.
did it. We all did. We were playing with Angel Serenity too, so you could just keep doing it.
Oh yeah, that was
Can we
great.
go back?
I want to
I missed that.
That's pretty good.
I missed
Start
that.
listening to some Kenny Chesney. Yeah, you did. You absolutely did. But not so much the Thragtusk and Restoration Angel.
No, I was just mostly just playing Thragtusk and
Yeah.
making people cry.
But yeah, this creature, I don't know how many you're going to see, but, like, again, don't be surprised if you're the aggressive deck and your opponent just, like, gains 5 life out of nowhere. This is, the new Ravenous Baloth of the format.
Yeah, it is awkward with the 4 toughness, though, and it dies to Chandra.
Yep.
So, I mean, that definitely keep that in mind, but yeah, it's a pretty sweet card. I mean, this is going to be awesome for Peasant Cubes everywhere, so yeah, get that foil.
Oh, for sure. Next up, we have Attune with Aether.
Tune with Aether. So this is kind of an innocuous card. So this is a single green for a sorcery. We've kind of mentioned this already earlier in the cast. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Also, you get 2 energy. So that's really what puts it over the top.
Lay of the Land. Typically, Lay of the Land effects are not good. Unless they have sort of an upside at some point. So we have, Traverse the Uvenwald,
right.
which has, the Delirium upside, and then we have this, which is the energy upside. And I've been seeing so much of this in the red-green energy decks, people being their first, their turn 1 play.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is a card that, you can play it. You can cut a couple lands from your deck probably if you're playing this card, just because, it replaces itself with a land. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have an energy deck, you're going to want to play something like this. If you're not playing energy, then you're probably not going to play this card.
Yeah,
Traverse is probably just a better card.
The key to this card is always how much you need. You need energy. So, it also does accomplish some fixing though, which the allied colors don't have as exciting fixing as the other colors right now. So having that is nice because you can search for your basic land to then be able to play like your game trail the next turn and have a basic to reveal for it. So,
but I think this is pretty exclusive to the energy deck. But I feel like it's a card that needs to be pointed out that you will probably
you'll be looking for cards that give you energy and you'll miss this one. So attune yourself with the Aether.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Blossoming Defense. This is a green for an instant. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains hexproof until end of turn. And I think we even mentioned this card a little bit when we first saw it, and people were saying like, "Oh, is this better than like Vines of Astwood?" And I think the key phrase of this card is "you control." And I think these kind of cards are always playable in standard. We've seen Ranger's Guile be a good sideboard card multiple times, especially in those red-green energy decks or those red-green aggressive decks where countering a removal spell can mean the difference between winning and losing a game. But in Modern, I think people are pretty excited about this card for Infect, and the main reason why is because this card cannot be targeted by a Spellskite. And that's pretty important, because it lets you confidently attack into a Spellskite, and if they're going to maybe block for a turn or two. Does it make it better than Vines? I don't know. Vines did lose some of its appeal when Splinter Twin was banned, because one of the nice things about Vines is you could incidentally use it to
counter a Splinter
Twin. And even in the mirror for Infect, Vines of Astwood does play that same role where you can counter become immense. So I don't know what the numbers look like here, but saying like I am ignoring your Spellskite makes this card worth looking at.
Yeah, I don't see it replacing Vines.
It's right here.
It's right there. I don't see it replacing Vines, and in fact, just because I think the +4 is so important.
How often do you see that though?
Pretty decent amount. I think, for sure. Man,
having the extra double green when you're going off, I don't think is actually that common. And I think this one guaranteeing you get +2/+2 for the 1 mana. I think people are gonna like it. I don't know if it replaces it.
Yeah, I don't know if it completely replaces it.
You see a mix.
Yeah, I definitely could see a mix.
Maybe. I just think in that deck you want the most bang for your buck, and this is always +2. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if it played it, but I don't expect it to. We'll just put it that way.
Fair enough. That makes sense. Bristling Hydra is next.
Bristling Hydra. I think this card's a little overrated, but so it's 2 generic green for a 4/3. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy, and also has an ability of pay 3 energy to put a +1/+1 counter on Bristling Hydra. It gains hexproof until end of turn. So obviously, this is a medium-sized creature that can protect itself from a removal spell and get a little bit bigger. You could potentially activate the ability multiple times if you have other ways to get energy. The thing I don't like about this card is that you can respond to the get energy trigger. So like against an instant speed removal spell, they're like, okay, play this, trigger on the stack to get energy. Okay, in response, kill it. I mean, you still get the energy, but it's already dead. So.
That's certainly awkward. I do think that deck has plenty of times, though, where they can leave 3 energy up before it comes in the battlefield.
Sure, yeah.
And this card has been... I agree. I don't think it's super exciting. The body is average, but it's been a little more annoying than I would have given it credit for without having played against it a couple times. Like, it's hard to attack into because normal tricks don't work against it, just because, we get that idea of gaining hexproof. And like the interesting about the energy deck is that so many of the creatures can just like grow permanently all of a sudden that you have to be really cognizant of what is going on, how much energy they have at all times, because it can be sort of misleading to see how the board works against that deck. So I don't think this at 4 mana for a 4/3 is never that exciting, but the ability to get hexproof really does give it some staying power. And for a 4 mana creature that looks like it should match up so poorly against Chandra, that 3, that getting hexproof makes it look pretty appealing.
Yeah. Ultimately, I don't think this card will be good enough for constructed, but we'll see.
I potentially like it in the sideboard, like in the red green deck.
Okay,
But
so
I wouldn't start it. I wouldn't play it in the main 60.
It's nice to be resistant against removal, but like, okay, you blank there one removal spell, but you still have like a 5/4 no
Resistance
evasion.
to Chandra is, I think, what makes that card possibly a sideboard card. Because
Sure.
in the mirror where your other 4-drop is Chandra, having a 4-drop that looks at a Chandra and says is good.
This card just screams to me bulk rare. Like,
Oh yeah, I don't think it's
not
gonna be worth like
playable.
money.
No.
Oh,
It's
no.
a Hydra.
No, I
mean,
know, but like, I don't see it. But
I mean,
Yeah, we're not talking about Polychronos here.
Oh man, how awesome is it that Creeping Mold is back? I know, it's not
very
even as
awesome.
good as Bramble Crush, okay?
Not
I
very
get it. Let's see, what we're looking at next here.
Long Tusk
Long
Cub.
Tusk.
Ooh, Long Tusk Club. I like this card. This is a sweet 2-drop for the energy deck. It's a green and a colorless for a 2/2 creature cat. Whenever it deals damage to a player, you get 2 energy. And then you can pay 2 energy to put a +1/+1 counter on Long Tusk Cub. And this is sort of that same design we saw with that cycle of commons we mentioned, Thriving Grubs, except for this one can always use energy for it. It doesn't give you any energy when it comes into play, but it rewards you for connecting. And again, this is another one of those cards where you have to pay attention because you'll have to be constantly doing math against that deck if they've got sort of the energy train flowing because, these 2/2s aren't 2/2s for very long, and they can do it whenever. Again, there's no mana involved, so it's interesting.
even just going like turn 1 Attune with Aether, turn 2 this, and then you have the ability to immediately make it a 3/3.
3/3. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
So like, it's going to be a role player in the energy deck, but it's going to be a good role player in that deck.
All right.
Let's talk about. Is this even good enough? Nah, it's a joke.
It's our last Planeswalker. So we have Nissa, Vital Force. 3 generic green for a 5 loyalty Nissa. Has a +1 ability of untap target land you control. Until your next turn, it becomes a 5/5 elemental creature with haste. It's still a land. Has -3 of return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. And has a -6 of you get an emblem with whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. So this card has a lot going for it. And ultimately, I think the flexibility is what's going to make it just a really good card for Standard. The +1, being able to get aggressive if you want to go that route and, attack for 5 immediately. You can do that, or you can, turn your land into a 5/5 and keep it back to protect your Nissa or like any other Planeswalkers you might have. I like that it's, flexible in that way. The -3 will give you the ability to loop your Nissas. So if you have multiple Nissas in your deck, so your first Nissa died, you can play the second one, get the other one back, so that if their second one dies, then you have another backup. Or you can get just back whatever. I mean, any permanent card. So any other Planeswalkers or anything you might have. And then the ultimate being a -6, being able to do it the turn after she comes into play is just pretty good. I mean, even if the ultimate itself isn't the most powerful thing we've ever seen, I think if you're playing like a grindy deck, that's kind of what you want. You know what I mean? Like it will eventually take over the game. So I think this is just a great, solid card. And I expect to see a lot of play.
Yeah, I think one of the subtle things even about her +1 is that we're coming out of a block, 2 blocks ago now, but they had so many cards that were like specifically say non-land because of like the interactions. So that like the 5/5 like definitely protects her, but it's also sort of immune to some like random removal spells too. Things like Anguish Unmaking, for example. Now, granted, Anguish Unmaking can just kill the Nissa, but like cards like that say like non-land. I'm sorry, I'm tired. That example just defeated my whole argument. I don't know what to tell you. I also want to mention we're not really talking about these, but we have those Planeswalker decks that have been spoiled. And while the Chandra hasn't gotten any love, the Nissa out of the Planeswalker deck has gotten a little bit of buzz. For being a 6-mana walker that
It gains you like a million life.
It gains you a bunch of life and goes up to like infinite loyalty, and then its minus is like divination essentially. People are talking about that card because any of the mid-range decks that are or even like a little bit aggressively tilted, they don't have a way to beat that card. I'm
going to be very upset if I lose to it.
Oh yeah,
Let's just put it that
we
way.
all will be.
And also one of the cards that's in that deck gets you a land and that card.
Yeah, it's a rampant growth that gets you that Nissa.
Yeah.
It costs 4 mana, but like if they do that, if they cast that spell and reveal it to you, you just start like sweating immediately. You're like, oh no, this can't happen. This can't be the way I go out. So, but it's a real thing.
I want to look this up now because I don't know.
Anyway, but I've played against a bit of a Nissa on the while testing, and haven't been too impressed with it, in all honesty. But maybe I think versus an aggressive deck, she's not supposed to be that impressive.
Yeah.
So, but the card is good. I think a lot of people like really trying to race to that ultimate, and I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how people treat her, if she's just a value engine or if it's like trying really hard to get this.
I feel like
this
she
emblem.
like there have been times where my opponent had a Nissan 6 and was just like, I'm just gonna get this emblem, and I'm like, you could have just returned something that could have
actually
been far more detrimental.
You want to draw a card so you feel like you're ahead in the game, but it's like, but look at all the things you had. No, okay.
Oh yeah. It's
I
like,
agree with you on that.
So I think like you definitely have to evaluate what's going on, and like drawing 2 cards a turn theoretically is nice, but like sometimes
One of them's a land. Yeah, like you're in turn 6, 7, 8 of the game, and one of them's a land. So like you're never using it to draw 2 spells in a turn.
Right.
Grant Evolving Wilds being like an outlier possibly. So
if that's the case, then maybe having a repeatable, Eternal Witness is just better. Pseudo Eternal.
So Davis just discovered the other Nissa, and he's like really salty now.
So this card isn't in the set proper, though it's in the Planeswalker deck.
Yeah.
So it is legal and standard. So it's Nissa, Nature's Artisan. It's 4 generic green for a 5 loyalty. Nissa has a +3 ability, gain 3 life. I already hate this card. It just comes into play and there's 8 loyalty, and you're at a million.
Its ultimate actually just wins the game too.
Yeah.
If you have any sort of board state.
So this is like really swingy. It's like +3, then a -4. Reveal the top 2 cards of your library. Put all land cards from among them onto the battlefield, and then the rest in your hand. So you're getting them. And it has a -12, which you can get to fairly quickly. Creatures you control get +5/+5 and give trample until end of turn. So it's like a super overrun. Wait, I don't even want to have to think about this card.
Yeah, I know. It's not supposed to be playable.
I don't want to think about that.
And yet,
potentially playable.
your opponent's going to tick up and gain 3 life, and you're going to smack your head at the table.
It could happen.
It'll be like a week 1 thing, like, oh, I couldn't find Nissa Vital Forces, so I'm playing this because it was in the Planeswalker deck. Sweet.
Oh man! All right, let's continue.
Let's finish this out. We're so
journey.
close.
All right, next one is Servant of the. You want to talk
about this
about?
one?
You want to talk about?
I think that card's good.
Via Pashiri Sage Lifecrafter.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the name. No, I actually think the card's good. I've seen it in some white green humans lists.
So was Rice the Redeemed playable in Standard?
No, but it just has
Okay.
tribal applications.
Wait, Rice the Redeemed didn't have tribal applications?
He was an elf.
I don't.
They made elf tokens, but yeah, you're right. This one has servo tribal. I don't think this card is good enough, but it could see play, I guess.
Okay.
So you play it on turn 1, and then turn 3 you get to spend your turn tapping it to make a 1/1. Eventually, we can make some sweet XXs.
Yeah.
What's your opponent doing during this while you're spending your
You could
turn
also
3
just
Probably
tapping?
killing you.
All right. So you play Thraben Inspector in a humans deck, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Threat Inspector isn't needy. It doesn't need to come back to it.
No, it's like I'm here. There's a clue over there.
Right,
If you want to use it.
This just gives you the option.
I understand
though.
what you're saying. It is a mana sink, but
Yeah.
it's the kind of card that's like if you draw it late in the game, it's not the kind of mana sink you actually want because you can't use it that turn.
Maybe.
Like comparing this with a card like what was it? The 2/1 is it the 2/1 mage, the green mage that made
Jade
insects.
Mage?
Jade Mage, yeah, right. Jade Mage like got it like that value, whatever you wanted it, and still
Yeah,
like,
I'm just saying, like, I don't think we should overlook this card because I mean, I have seen it in some lists.
it's got some sweet art. She's got some sweet like servo pet that she's
Yeah.
like trying to feed, but like it won't eat because it's robot. All right, Servant of the Conduit, colorless and a green for a 2/2 creature elf druid. When Servant of the Conduit enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy, and then you can tap it, pay an energy, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. And you know, like we've moved away for a while now from like 1 mana fixing.
Elvish Mystic, we miss you.
But most of our 2 mana color fixing also, since Sylvan Caryatid hasn't been of any color. Like, am I right? Am I crazy? They've all been like mostly green. We had Servant or Savant. I'm sorry, the ally that could only cast creatures.
Yeah.
This card is pretty powerful, I think. You know, the energy deck in general might want this, but I think even like green mid-range decks might want this because how many times are you actually using your mana guy? It's so important to get from your 2-drop to your 4-drop or your 3-drop to your 5-drop that you might be done with this creature after you use its energy. So I think this card's going to be used in a lot of applications in the format.
I can see that potentially being the case. Takedown's real easy. That's the next one. I'll take it. It's
You'll take it down.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I don't even need the spoiler. I know what it does. It's 1 and a green for an instant. And it says
No, it's just a green.
oh, excuse
It's
me.
even
one,
better than
it's
that.
one green.
I can do it without it. Oh, wrong already. Continue though.
It's 1 green. Was what I meant to
Yeah,
say.
sure, it's what you meant
It's
to say.
late. Leave me alone.
You were just so excited and you
I know.
failed.
And I have to look it up now because I can't remember. Is it choose one or both?
Choose one.
Okay, choose one. It's deal 4 damage to target creature with flying, or deal 1 damage to all creatures.
He harasses us for not doing this
good thing-
correctly, and he just derailed the whole process.
Good thing you didn't have to look that one up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. So it's like I said, you guys were interrupting me. Choose one. Take down deals 4 damage to target creature with flying, or 1 damage to all creatures with flying.
You said it twice now.
Yeah, because you guys interrupted me.
Interrupted you again. Did you say it again?
No, I finished the card. It's a sideboard card. It kills all
Yeah.
Thopters.
It does kill all Thopters. You're
Those
right.
off Thopters. Yeah, I mean, Plummet has seen some sideboard play. I think this is some. Are there any like larger flyers that this wouldn't be able to kill?
The,
like I said,
the dragon.
demon.
It
It does kill the dragon.
It does kill the dragon.
It doesn't kill the sky ship, and it doesn't kill.
It kill. Well,
Doesn't kill-
it's not going to kill a vehicle most of the
Doesn't
time.
kill
Anyways, it's a
Thopter.
sorcery effect.
Yeah, it doesn't kill Copter. It doesn't kill.
Again, it's a sorcery effect. So
Right,
it's fine.
right, I know,
But it
it's
does
just-
kill like Gisela.
Everything kills Gisela, man.
Yeah, I know.
Gisela was like just the most overhyped card.
Sounds like too beautiful to live.
All right, Dave. This is the last one.
I'll take us home. All right. Last card, Verdurous Gearhulk. 3 generic green artifact creature construct. 4/4 trample. When it enters the battlefield, distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control. So even if you don't have any other creatures, you can just put it all on this guy and make it an 8/8 trample for 5 mana. It's pretty good. You can put 1 counter on each of 4 other creatures that you have.
We understand.
Yeah,
We get it.
understand
We
what
understand.
it means.
Yeah.
We know how to divide.
Yeah, still a lot of power in 1 card, and I mean, I was pretty surprised when I saw this. I didn't think this was real, but
It's been fine in application. Like I've never felt like this card was like game breaking playing against it. Sometimes it is very, very good. Sometimes it's not even close to good. Like, there are definitely plenty of times where if you've kept the board under control when your opponent just their 5-drop is just an 8/8, it's doesn't mean anything. Who cares?
Yeah.
And there's also times where they've gotten ahead on board and then they make the creature they're going to attack with that turn a 7/7, and that's upsetting as well. So it's certainly a swingy card. It being 5 mana really pushes it compared to the other Gear Hulks. But I think everyone was like, wow. And then so far in application, I put this card closer to like Colonia Hydra than anything else, which was the 4/4 that when it attacked, it doubled its counters. That's what it's felt like in a lot of times. Now, if they're doing a good job of swarming the board, then they get a little more choice with it. But so far, like in back and forth interactive matches, it hasn't been that dominating.
I think it's nice that like even if you just have like a servo on the board, right, when you cast this, you can just put this in play, make your servo into a 5/5 and be able to attack immediately. So now you have basically 2 threats that your opponent has to deal with. I don't know.
This has been very good in the green-white token shell, which still exists, and it's very good with Nissa and Gideon.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they did a really good job balancing the Gear Hulks, except for the red one. We'll just throw that in there. But I mean, they're all, except for the red one, good. They're good situationally. Like they're really good situationally, but they're not overpowering like the Titans were. I think they did a good job of balancing them like legitimately this time instead of just making them the most broken creatures that like you're not going to play anything else over.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
They would, I think what helped them is they moved away from like strict uniformity as well. So they all cost a little bit different and have a little bit different power and toughness. So it allowed them to be a little bit more flexible with what they did.
Yeah.
So I think that helps a lot with that. This card's really gross, like back to back. I've had that happen to me a few times, where it's just like one after another. That's no fun. That's
two back.
That's the sucky thing. And this card has always been at its best. Again, on a wide board rather than just by itself. So,
also good with Displacer.
Very true.
One more thing with the red girl, because I know that somebody's going to be upset about it, and I have 3 words for you: Soul of Chandalar. 6/6 first striking red bodies that have good effects. Now, granted, you could say, well, that one you had to pay more mana for. Yeah, and the other effect, the one where they put 3 cards in your graveyard, is going to be absolutely irrelevant all of the time.
If you think that if you draw 3 cards from this card, you're dead already. I want you to know that.
Absolutely. So,
or
just you need to Punisher mechanics aren't your friend.
Yeah, or you're way far ahead, and it doesn't even matter.
or they're dead already.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Punisher mechanics, stop it, Wizard, stop. Just no one likes it.
I'm trying to trick people.
Stop it.
All right. So, what do we think of the set overall, guys?
I think it's good.
Yeah, we didn't do our traditional like top lists, and I think like
oh god, no, I don't want to be here any longer with you
well,
people.
no, but I'm saying like I think overall as a set, I think this set has me really excited. I think there's a lot of design space in the set, and it feels so much more optimistic than our last 2 blocks, and I am really excited for this weekend.
Yeah, it's very rejuvenating to see like a new sort of like uplifting coat of paint kind of thrown onto a set, and I think it's cool that we have an artifact-centric set again, and a lot of people get hyped about that. But overall, I think it looks fun, and I'm excited to play Standard again.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job at like putting cards, like build-around cards in there, as well as just new staples that we're going to see. And I'm pretty excited about Energy, too. Like I was very suspect about Energy, like how good that was going to be. But now, like, seeing the whole set, like, I think it's going to be really cool and really interesting. Like, I think they did a really good job designing it as, like, something that is different from mana. And, but also just good enough to, for constructed. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what comes out of week 1.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we'll be there, so we'll get to see it firsthand.
Yeah.
And maybe we can, strike out and, make a name for ourselves with our sweet brews. And I hope that's the case. I hope we do well. That'd be pretty sweet. But that has been the Palooza for Kaladesh. We do appreciate you guys coming out. So if you guys want to reach out to us, we have a Twitter. It's @YourEndStep. Or if you want to email us, it's @YourEndStep@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook. Do a quick search for @YourEndStep on Facebook, as well as while you're on Facebook, definitely take a quick look at our lovely sponsor, Comic Town. You can do a quick search for Comic Town Gaming Center, and they won't have anything this week that's really going on, unfortunately, due to Indy, kind of being in the spotlight, as it were, fairly close to Columbus. So it's not really typically good business to schedule something on the same weekend as a big SCG. So, but we'll let you know next week week of the upcoming events that are going to be happening over there at Comic Town. If you do have any feedback for us, please feel free to leave us a review on iTunes. That's a great place where you can constantly get the podcast right to your iPhone or other Apple products, or your Windows computer, I guess. You can also subscribe to us from the Google Music app on your Android phones directly, and you can also find us on MTGcast, where you can also find a bunch of other wonderful Magic podcasts. So go there and find your new favorite show. But I do believe that it's going to be everything for us this week. We do appreciate you, and we'll catch you guys next time. You have a great one. Bye.